Hi, everybody.
Hey,
My name is Michelle, and I am an addict.
Michelle.
I've got 2 years and some change clean.
Yay.
Yes. And I found something on Facebook the other day that actually explained. If y'all remember when we first started this thing, she was talking about the owies in our hearts, and we have to heal those. How important it is to heal those. Well, I found something on Facebook that I wanted to share with y'all right quick before I started my spiel on whatever, because it explained exactly what she's been talking about and how important it is. So it says addiction isn't about drugs and alcohol. It is the absence of self. This absence is described as a hole in your soul. You can't love others when you are empty inside. Recovery peels back the painful layers and heals that hole through connection, honesty, and hard work. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifetime recovery.
Amen.
Okay? And so, first off, right quick, I want to tell y'all, right, anybody that knows me, I'm different from you guys, right? I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you, right? I've done this 2.5 times. I have worked the steps 2.5 times, right? I got this. Now, what Tolbert said last week, I got this. Guess what? I don't have this. I don't have this at all. And I want to share with y'all something. It goes on what Tolbert was talking about last week and the week before about rewriting the movie. Now, thank God, I don't have a problem with MRIs. Thank God. Because they're horrible by themselves. I'm glad I don't have an issue with that. My horror movie, a lot of the time is relationships. Anybody in here had a healthy relationship and been happy for the rest of your life? No? Really? Neither have I. Neither have I. Okay, so I want to tell y'all that just because I've been in recovery for 2 years and just because I've worked the steps 2.5 times does not mean that the insecurities and the doubts and the self-loathing doesn't come back when an old movie comes back in, right? I reconnected with an old friend. We used to play together. Last time I saw him, he was 15 years old. He's 47 now. Okay? I was convinced I had found my soul. Now, this was just 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago. I was convinced I had found my soulmate, right? The only relationship I've ever known in my life is the obsession and the control and the doubting myself. Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I too fat? Am I not smart enough? Right? And now I have to control everything he's doing because that's all I know. That's all I've ever known my whole life when it comes to relationships. So guess what I did? Everything I just mentioned. Everything. And this all happened within a matter of 48 hours. Yes. I was starting to obsess. I was starting to try and control everything about the situation. Why? Because it was a movie. It was the only movie I knew. It was the only example I had of a relationship was to go this way. We needed to be moved in together and engaged within a week. In my mind. Really. Really. He's my soulmate. Surely I'm his, right? Why do we need to wait? Let's just do this. Right? Because that's what I've always done. And this goes on. Now, mind you, he has given me no indication that he's not interested, but he has definitely not given me any indication that he's jumped in with both feet. Okay? He actually has a life outside of me, which I'm not real sure if I'm okay with that yet or not, but it's going to be okay. So I'm assuming this is how healthy relationships go, right? You take your time, you get to know each other, all these things that I'm not okay with, haven't been okay with ever in my life. I have absolutely no control over the situation, which scares me to death. But I have no good examples to go off of. So, within a week, I was so obsessed and so trying to control everything about the situation, and I mean everything, that I couldn't even function. I couldn't make myself get up and take a shower. My apartment was a mess. Anybody that knows me knows if my bed's not made, we're in a lot of trouble. I didn't make my bed for 4 days. Because I didn't know how to rewrite this movie. I didn't know how to rewrite the script. Because I'd never had to before. Because I've always, in my mind, felt that I could control it. It happened on my time frame. Everything went, and it always ended horribly, horribly wrong. Well, I don't want that this time, but I still want to hurry up and get into this, right? Because I don't want to wait. What have we learned in recovery? Patience is key. Also, if any of you know me, patience is not a strong point of mine. It's not. I still struggle with that all the time. I have learned to kind of let go and release control, but the patience is still, I'm still working on that. So, this was June 9th that this man was reintroduced into my life. Okay, that was a Friday. By the following Thursday, I was so obsessed that I couldn't even get off the couch. So what did I have to do? The only thing I knew to do. Thank God I had enough recovery in me to know that this was old behavior. And I had to change it. I had to change it. There was no alternative. Because I knew what the end result was going to be if I didn't. So the only thing I knew to do was I went in my bedroom and I put a pillow on the floor and I got on my knees. And I prayed. And I cried. For 20 minutes. I prayed and I cried, God, please help me. I can't live like this anymore. I can't do this. And I apparently cannot get out of this obsession and this hole that I've dug myself into by myself. I can't do it. I need your help. 20 minutes. That's a long time when you're on your knees. And you're so unsure about what's going to happen from second to second. It's absolutely terrifying to lose control that fast. Less than a week, I had lost control. So I pray and I'm thinking, oh God, please help me. I can't do this. You're the only person. You're the only thing that can relieve me of this obsession that I have created. And I went to bed because I knew if I stayed up, I would continue to obsess over it to the point that I was going to make myself sick, physically sick. So I go to bed. I was in bed by 6:30 that day. Woke up the next morning, and guess what? I had rewritten the movie. The obsession was gone. The fear was gone. I still wanted it my way, but I had come to the conclusion that my way was not the best way, and I'm okay with that now. I can function. I got up and took a shower. That was the first thing I did Friday morning, was got up and took a shower. And it was one of those, it was terrifying how fast it happened, how quickly I lost control of something I never had control of to begin with. But thank God I've got environments like this where I can come and I can listen, and I hear the answer from Stephanie and Tolbert, and I hear the answer from you ladies every time you share something, and I hear the answer from my sponsees. And now, I got baptized yesterday.
Yay.
Yes. And what led me to that is now I can finally hear the answers from God. I can hear the answers from my higher power. And I know that He's going to help me no matter what it is. And it's okay. It's okay to get kind of sideways for a few minutes. And that's fine. It's fine. That's life. But hopefully in this journey that we're all taking, we have enough patience to sit down and say, okay, is this really, really what needs to happen? Because most of the time, no, it's not. It's not even close to what needs to happen. But we're human, right? Okay, y'all are. I'm not, right? Because I'm perfect. But life happens. But it's okay. And the old movies are going to play themselves a million times in your mind. A million times. But the one time is all it's going to take for you to rewrite it. And that's very important that you do that, because you don't want to stay stuck in this horror movie that was whatever was going on in my mind. I can't even describe it. And the freedom I got from asking for help. And that's kind of what Tolbert was talking about last week. It's going to come, and it's going to happen. And when it happens, it is going to be amazing to have the power to rewrite the story. Right? That's all I got.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Couldn't be any more perfect for where we're going tonight. So, it's so good to see y'all's face. Man, that's good. God is crazy good, isn't he? I'm going to read something that Tolbert shared with me on Instagram. So I found something too, and I'm just going to read it, and it's going to go along so perfectly with everything that she just said. And this is completely stolen. I didn't make this up. One of the hardest things about healing is that the version of yourself that you became in order to go through the war that you were presented with is also somebody you have to let go of. See, the version of yourself that you had to be in order to survive is not the version of yourself that you can now be to continue. Isn't that what she just said? She can't go back to that old way. You have to leave that version of yourself behind. So it's a double-edged sword. You have to create someone to get through it, but once you're over that hill, you can't take that person with you. That person was for the war, and the war is won. The battle may continue, but that old version cannot. Okay? And aren't we created to be, like when we go through this walk and we get where we are and we get recovered and we go from recovering and struggling and all that to recovered? I mean, if we take it to what the Bible says, doesn't it say we are made new? It doesn't say that he takes something old and fixes it up, right? That's what I like to do. I love taking trash and turning it into treasure, right? I like transforming it into, like, putting a little bit of paint on it, a little bit of lipstick, as he says, putting some lipstick on that pig and making it pretty. That's my favorite thing to do. But that, and we compare that with ourselves too. Like I was broken and all this stuff, and I'm going to slap some lipstick on, and I'm going to get a shower, and I'm going to get clean, I'm going to do all that, and I'm going to be improved. No, this is about being made new. That's the promise, isn't it? And Tolbert and I have been talking all week about this, that for him, for myself, the person I was 20 years ago is not the person I am today. It's almost like when I have those memories, it's almost like I'm remembering in a movie, like an actual movie. It's hard to believe that was actually me, because it's so far removed from who I am now. And he can say the same thing. Michelle can say the same thing. But when those moments come back, we can get back there real quick, can't we? We can, and it's just an instant. It's that fast. Which goes exactly into what I want to talk about tonight, because what I see in my experience in recovery is that most of the people that I see that go out tend to gravitate back towards their old people, places, and things. Think about it. Think about all the people that you know, or think about yourself in the times that you have relapsed or done. What have you done? Because I'd almost guarantee that there was something from your past that got involved. Right? And so isn't that going back to the old life, our old self, our old ways? We're called to be new. We're called to create a new life. We're called to do something new. Not our old ways with a little bit of improvement on it, right? We're not, as he said last week, would you say something about putting whipped cream on top of
poo-poo?
Poo-poo? It doesn't work, does it? It's still poo-poo. And we're not made to continue to be poo-poo, right? We're made to be made new. So we're walking away from that old stuff into something brand spanking new, which means that we have to break the habit of being ourselves. So we can't go back into the normal. We can't go back into the comfort zone. We can't go back into what we've always done. We have to do something new. So exactly what Michelle was talking about, she did something new, right? She could have sat there and she could have stewed, and this could have gone, whatever it does, right? And then this would have done the same thing. That heart was just getting, oh. I'll do it again, I promise. But as she was talking, it made me think like our awareness, she was aware that she was not thinking correctly. And she was aware that she was not feeling correctly. Her soul was aware. And her soul has become used to peace, right? Her soul, hi Kay. So her soul has become used to these things. And when these are out of alignment, her awareness, her soul said, this isn't okay, right? And it made me think like in my awareness, I have one of two options. I have what? An old way, which is usually my way, and I have a new way. What you looking at?
Nothing.
Okay.
I thought the camera was looking at me.
So, and typically, if my old way, if I keep doing the same thing I've always done, I'm going to keep getting what I've always got, right? And isn't the whole point of recovery, isn't the whole point of sobriety is to get something new? So anytime that I'm in my old ways, it's a big red flag to be like, hey, maybe this isn't okay. Maybe I'm in my old movie. And one of the things that really stuck out to me is that if I'm aware of what I'm doing, if I'm aware that I've got these old ways and I'm aware I'm a new creation, because what we've been talking about the last few weeks is also who we are, right? Who are we? We, and what is our identity, and what does the truth say, and what does the false say? And so if we know that, which is great, we can know it here. We may not feel it here though, not yet. How do we get there? Like if we know all who I am in Christ, that's pretty simple, right? I'm beloved. I'm what? I'm forgiven, worthy, cherished. What? Loved, right? I can know all those things here, but still feel like a piece of poo-poo here, right? And so if I'm feeling like a piece of poo-poo and then my mind's telling me I'm really all these other things, I'm living in that division, that conflict. How the heck do we get those in alignment? Well, I'm going to start doing something new. Because my old way got me feeling like that piece of poo-poo to begin with, right? So, if my old ways are getting me there, I have to be willing to believe that maybe if I do something different, I'll get something different, right? One of the things that became very aware to myself this week is in talking, because we talk about this all week. We banter back and forth and we get snippy with each other and we're like, what about this and how about this? And he's always asking me, well, make it small. How do you bring it down? And what's the practical thing? And which is what I love, because we balance each other out and we're able to have a full picture. So he's going to have some things that he's going to share. But this week we got to go to have a little meeting, and I can't give you a whole lot of details, but there's some very exciting things happening in the Amarillo area that just blows me away. And this question was asked, how do we help people? How do we help people when they go back out? Why are they going back out? How do we keep them from going back out? And this was coming from somebody who's a large donor, has lots of money, is willing to give stuff, and he's frustrated because he's like, we're giving all these resources, we've got everything under the sun. We've got places that they can live, we've got everything. Why are people going back out? Why aren't they staying sober? Why are they going back to prison? Why are they going back to rehabs? Why? And the one thing that came to me that of course I had to speak up about was they go back to old people, places, and things. And so it could be not only people, places, and things, but it could be old thoughts, right? It can be old feelings. It can be any of that. And so back to the last couple of weeks that we've been talking about, we got to be aware. Like if we're not aware, if we're sitting like she was sitting in it, completely unaware that she was sitting in it, we got to be aware. And that's where we help each other. Hey, you all right? Hey, what's going on? Hey, dude, what's going on there? Let's talk about that, right? Let's unpack that. Let's get to the bottom of that. And let's start doing something new. So in the big book, it says that as soon as a person is saying that they are willing to believe, and it's talking about with God, my guess is most of us in here are willing to believe in God, or most of us do believe in God, right? I that's my guess here. What if we're willing to believe? is a little bit different? What if we're willing to believe that maybe I am valuable? What if I'm willing to believe that maybe I do have a purpose? What if I'm willing to believe that I am a new creation? What if I'm willing to believe that I have something to give? I have something to say. I have something of worth. What if I'm willing to believe that? I'm going to be a whole different person, aren't I? But if I'm walking around with that whipped cream on top of this poo-poo heart, what's going to happen? That's how I'm going to live, right? I'm going to live smelling up the room. So, are you drawing that? All right. So just like she was saying, this heart is the core of it all. It's the driving force of everything. And most of us have been programmed throughout life. Just like I read when we first began, most of us had to develop this person. We had to develop who we are just to get by, just to survive, just to get through. Because we took arrow after arrow after arrow after arrow in this heart of ours. And I had to numb mine out. I couldn't take it anymore. I was so done, right? I didn't know what else to do. So the thing is, it started killing me. I needed something else. I needed something new. And in recovery, that's exactly what I had to do. I had to set aside everything that I knew, everything, and rely on people that were in recovery to tell me what I needed to know, because I didn't know anything. All I knew is that I didn't know. All I knew were my old ideas, my old ways, my old feelings, my old right? My old control, my old everything. Are you taking a picture of me? I'm just messing with you.
Can I speak into that a minute?
Please, yes.
Okay. We've all been to a restaurant, right? Everybody here been to a restaurant before? Have you ever taken a bite into some food that you thought was going to be delicious and it was absolutely hideous? All right, so go there in your mind. Seriously, take a minute, go there. Somebody tell me what it is that they ate that was just the worst thing it's a horrible taste. Caviar.
Caviar.
My sister made a pie and cheese bowl.
Oh, caviar, salt instead of sugar, something else. Sushi. Dead fish. I'm not with you on that one. Okay, so imagine taking that horrible taste in your mouth, that horrible food that you're just cringing over right in this moment, okay? And you take it with you, and you take it home, and you put it in your bedroom, and leave it there. You go back out, take the same food, put it in your mouth, and take it home, and put it in your bedroom. And you do that every day, over and over and over again, right? Would anybody in their right mind really do that? No. But isn't that exactly what we do, how we judge ourselves, what we do with our emotions and our behaviors? We go out, we do something really yucky, we have a thought that's really yucky, and I take it with me, and I put it in my bedroom, and I leave it there, and I live in it. We wouldn't live in that halfway chewed food that we hate. We wouldn't live in that, would we?
What if we have a thought and the thought go away, but it's not going?
It's a great question. I'll get to that in 1 second. You're leading right down the road. So that's exactly what she's talking about. That's our old ways of behaving, right? That's exactly what she's talking about. That's exactly what we do, though. We are comfortable in this partially chewed up, gross food. We are comfortable in these gross thoughts. We're comfortable in these gross feelings. Pretty disgusting, isn't it? Right? And then when we get there, because we've had these thoughts so much, they become beliefs, and then they get into our hearts, and then that becomes the character of who we are. I am that chewed up food that I disgustedly hate in my bedroom. That's who I am. So there's no separation between me and that gross food. That's where we end up as addicts and alcoholics, in our heart, right? It's a pretty dismal place to be. But that's exactly what she's talking about. We'll go back to the old ways. I was talking with a gentleman this week. He really touched my heart. been talking with him for a few months now, right? And he's done some hideous things that got him where he is today. So we do lots of talking and everything. In this particular meeting that we had last week, every sentence that came out of his mouth, this makes me angry. That guy makes me angry. I'm so mad at this. The people in the dorm are doing this. They're not doing this. The guards are doing, I mean, literally every sentence for 53 minutes, because my clerk held up a sign, chap, 53 minutes he's been talking, right? In my office. So for 53 minutes, he was spewing just this anger, this vile anger about every person, every instance in his day. The dude was miserable. I'm sitting there listening to him. You know, when somebody's talking like that, you can't combat that, right? He say this. So what he's saying is the essence of his anger is he's looking at himself in the mirror, right? That's what he sees. He sees himself as the behavior that got him in there. He's angry about that, and he sees himself as that. So therefore, everything he sees makes him angry, because he's very angry within himself. Enormous amounts of anger, bitterness. That's how he sees himself. That's not a very pleasant place to be, is it? Those of us who've really been through the depths and the drugs of alcoholism and drug addiction can probably relate to that feeling, right? So as I'm sitting there talking with him, I said, brother, can you say one thing, right? And so I've had him trying to do some type of putting whipped cream on poo-poo, like an affirmation or something, saying something like, I love and forgive myself, right? I've had him doing that for a while. No avail. Can't even do it. So I said to him, in the midst of this, I said to him, Jim, can you say, I forgive myself? I forgive myself. The man began to weep uncontrollably. Began to weep uncontrollably because he was judging himself with his old ways of behavior, and he could not even say the sentence to me, I forgive myself. Chap, I don't believe that. I'm lying. I didn't ask if you believed it. Just say the 3 words, I forgive myself. He couldn't do it. He literally could not even mouth the words, I forgive myself. Think about just the bitterness that dear man is experiencing, because he's looking backwards. Totally looking backwards. We're sitting in an office. I'm loving him. He's in a safe place, but he's looking backwards, right? So I gave him a challenge that until I see you next week, can you just look in the mirror and say, I? Just start there, I. And we're going to begin to work on this self-forgiveness, which will be a whole nother seminar that we'll get into later in a couple of weeks. It came to me a little while ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the point of the matter is that he's seeing this stuff from his past, and he's not aware that that is the past and that I have a present and a future upon which I can live. He's stuck there. So this right here, this awareness in this past, it's all congobulated into one process. He can't separate himself from it. As we get recovered, I can separate myself from my past. I behaved badly. I'm not bad. Right? That's separating from the past. I did some things that were illegal and that were wrong or whatever. That doesn't mean that I am worthless. Big difference. So that's exactly what she's talking about right now, is we got to be aware. And in this awareness, we just turn a little bit and think of the smallest little thought. Let me put a pillow down and hit my knees. How simple is that thought? Seriously. You've all been where she's been. We've all been there, right? I don't know if she's ever thought about putting a pillow down and hitting her knees before, but that was a new way of thinking that she exhibited. How cool is that? How hard is that to do? She
really
could
hard.
do it. It can be. Jim can't say, I forgive myself. He can't even say those words. It's too hard for him to say. But where she is and where we're going, we can separate ourselves and say, I'm going to behave differently. You know why? Because I deserve it. I'm worthy. I am worthy of feeling joy and peace and serenity. This is not who I am, sitting here in fear, guilt, shame, and remorse. Y'all with it? Is that kind of dovetailing what you were saying there?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. You guys, when I first got into sobriety, I walked in the doors of our home group, and it's okay. I won't trip on it. And
Yeah, don't trip on that.
I won't. Who ended up being a really, really good friend of mine many years, a few years later, he was one of the head guys of the group, right? He chaired every Tuesday, and since has become my mentor. He's just one of my best buds. I know if I need help, I can call him. But do you know it took me 5 years to be able to talk to him other than to say hello? 5 years. I was so intimidated when I walked in this meeting. Now, I would talk to everybody else, but I would not. Remember, I've told you guys a story about Cliff Bishop, him stumbling around, and I'd avoided him like the plague as long as I could, but he wouldn't let me. However, this other guy, I avoided him for 5 years because I just felt so unworthy. I put him up on this pedestal, and I was way down here, and I couldn't do what he did. I compared myself. I couldn't be who he was. He was so smart, and he was so knowledgeable, and people loved him, and he was just almost like this God, right? And I thought that if he looked into my eyes, he would see the depths of my soul, and he would know how bad I was. 5 years I avoided him. I'd be pleasant. Hi, good evening. Nice to see you, whatever. But I wouldn't sit and have a real conversation with him. And I was so nervous. I was so intimidated because I felt I was just unworthy. I felt unworthy. When I walked into the doors of that group, I was the biggest piece of poop you could ever imagine, at least in my eyes. And I didn't have that language to say. I didn't know, because I would have told you, yeah, I'm worthy. Yeah, whatever. However, I didn't think my voice mattered. I didn't think I had anything to say that you wanted to hear, because every time I ever said anything, people just discarded it anyway. They didn't listen. I didn't think that I had anything to share. I didn't think I had anything to give. I didn't think I had a purpose. I didn't have anything. The only purpose I ever had was to drink, get drunk, get high, work, make a lot of money, and that was it. I didn't have a purpose. I'd go to church, and I'd try to go there, and I'd try to do something new, and I'd leave there feeling even more defeated than when I walked in, because I'd go and I'd get high and I'd get drunk, and I'd beat myself up even more because I couldn't live up to these standards that I thought I had to live up to, right? And so I would just beat myself up more and more and more. So to have a purpose, that was something way new for me. To have a voice, to believe that I had a voice? Are you kidding me? No way. To believe that I could help somebody? You know what though? I didn't wait till I believed it. I was willing to believe. I didn't wait till I believed it. I did it. I started doing it way before, because I had a group of people that came along beside me and said, do it. We believe in you. We know, we see you. You ever have friends or sisters or anybody that you see their worth and their glory and all that's in them, and they can't see it? That's all I see. That's all I see in people. I see all of that. And sometimes I just want to shake people because I want them to get it. I want them to know it's in them. But we can't do that, can we? Nobody could do that for me. Nobody could shake it into me. So what they did is they took me by the hand and said, come on, I'll show you. I'll show you. And once they started showing me and I started experiencing it, because it wasn't just words, it wasn't just head knowledge, it was actually experiencing it. They said, okay, you don't know how to carry a message, right? 12 steps says we carry a message. So then just stand up here and read this paragraph. Okay, I can do that, right? Now look at where we are, right? I want to share another quick story. And I started, I was in AA for 7 years religiously, and it was religious. It became almost my higher power, and ended up getting burnt out, ended up needing to walk away for a minute, and ended up going into a ministry that caters to women's hearts. So I ended up going to this retreat called Captivating. So what I'm about to tell you is straight from them, stealing that too. Everything I got, y'all, is not original. It's all stolen. So please steal anything that we share. And that's why we want to do this, is because our hope and our goal for being here is that this has a ripple effect, that it goes out and it touches our community and it touches other people. So I go to Captivating, and 7 years sober, knowing I have a purpose, because I had learned in AA, I have a purpose, I have a message to carry, I have people to help. But I didn't know the extent of my purpose. Did you know, and since we do have a room full of ladies, we will talk about this. Tober was like, you can't say that. And there, are we just talking to ladies? Well, guess what? We are. So in that Captivating retreat, what they talk about is our purpose, that all of us wants to be essential. All of us wants to be more than just a household appliance, right? And in the Bible talks about when God created Adam and Eve, when he created Eve, he called her Azer. And the only other place in the Bible that Azer is used is for the Holy Spirit. That if the Holy Spirit doesn't come through, if Azer doesn't come through, people are going to die, right? So Azer is a lifesaver. There's a big difference between being and feeling like a lifesaver than being a helper, right? I'll help you. I'll submit to you. I'll be here to do whatever you want me to do. I'll be your gopher, right? And I'll go here and I'll go there. And okay, there's a big difference between having that role, which is what I thought, I was supposed to be, and being a lifesaver. Like if you don't come through, people are going to die, right? Man, there's one thing in the Bible that says man it's not good. It's for man to be alone. They will die without us, right?
Very true.
They will not eat. He will have his laundry done, but
I'll be skinny and clean.
Skinny and clean. So, you think about, you start stepping into who are you? You are a freaking Azer, right? You are a lifesaver. You have a purpose and a plan. God has a purpose and a plan for you, and every single body you touch is affected, right? You have the ability and the power to bring life or death with your words, with your presence, with everything that's in you. And that's a new way of thinking, isn't it? It was a whole new way of thinking for me. Because my old way of thinking is it doesn't even matter if I die. It doesn't even matter. I just would wish for death because I just didn't think it mattered to anybody. Yeah, they might cry for a minute, but the world's not going to change. It's not going to make a difference, because what am I doing anyway? I wasn't doing anything. So that was my old way of thinking. And when I started to be willing to believe, what if I am essential? What if what I do does matter? I wouldn't be here doing this right now if I didn't believe that, or I wasn't willing to believe that. I wouldn't be working where I'm working if I wasn't willing to believe that. There's a whole lot of things I wouldn't be doing if I wasn't willing to believe that just maybe it's going to make a difference. Just maybe there's a ripple effect. Just maybe there's something out there. And so the big book says, as soon as we're willing to believe, and you can put in whatever you want that to be, because it says as soon as we are willing to believe there's a God, we commence to get results. As soon as we're willing to believe that I matter, I'm going to get results. As soon as I'm willing to believe that my voice carries weight, I'm going to get results. As soon as I'm willing to believe that I'm worthy, that I'm beautiful, just the way I am, and I don't have to change, I don't have to do anything but just be me, and that's enough, that's more than enough. As soon as I'm willing to believe that that's who God created me to be, and it's a wonderful thing, I'm going to walk a whole lot different, right? And it's going to, my trajectory is going to be more in this direction towards the new way than falling into the old way. Do I still go into the old way? Yes. And it talks about in the Bible too that we pick up that dead man, don't we? We bury that old man and we become new. We bury that old self. And every now and then, like she was saying, I'll go dig them back up. And just like Tober was saying, it's just like eating that old nasty food, isn't it? I'm carrying around this dead corpse with me, and I'm carrying around that smelly, stinky poop everywhere I go. And the thing is, we all do it. We all will. What do I do though when that happens? What do I do when that mind goes into the old ways? I'm going to do a lot of things that we talk in here about. Breathe. Hit my knees, right? Hit my knees. That's always a given. Maybe talk to somebody. Maybe air it out. Get that out in the open. a lot of times just talking about it is like, oh, now I'm aware. Now because I've spoken it out loud, I'm aware of what's going on in here, and I can do something different, right? Because it's only when I did it, didn't I?
You did.
It's only, even though I said I wouldn't, it's only when I'm aware that I can, it's only when
Somebody
I'm aware
escaped.
that I can change the trajectory, right? I can change the direction. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. So who do you want to be? Oh, wipe out. Did you say safe? I'm safe. I'm okay. So we only have a couple minutes. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? I don't even know if I got any room to write. Who do you want to be? Not when you grow up, but today. I want to be valued, loved. You want to matter? Oh, I like that one. Oh. I heard what I hear about light. What about worthy? You got that one? What about trusted? Yeah. Oh, isn't that a good one? Remembered. Oh, yeah. What did you say, Beth? Oh. Me too. Well rested. That's a good one. What about strong? Supreme? Inspiring? Oh, courageous. I love that one. Wise? Oh, y'all had some good ones. Overcomer? Kind? That's a good one. I got heard on there. I do. What about significant? Do we have significant? Oh, that would have been bad. Free, I like that one. Free, fun. What about real? That one for me right there is the hugest thing. I would hide, I would lie, I would do whatever and present myself as what you wanted me to be so that you would be okay with me. Trusted? I got that one, I think. Honest? Honorable? Competent? Confident. What was that? I know. I'm wrapping it up. So that's a new script, right? That's a new script for the new movie. So does his buddy Jim feel forgiven? No. But what if he's willing to get there, right? Do I feel valued? Maybe not. But what if I'm willing to go there? Do I always feel loved or like I matter or like I'm important? Not always. But what if I'm willing to go there? What if I'm willing to go in that direction? What if I'm willing to pursue that? What if I'm willing to do what I need to do to get there? What if I'm just willing to believe that just maybe, what does the Bible say? That just a mustard seed is all you need. And if you're willing to believe that, then you're going to get results. That's the promise. You're going to get results. So maybe this week, be aware, when we're aware of these old habits, hang-ups, old places, people, things. And if you're not going to old people, places, and things, be aware of the old thinking, right? And if it's old thinking and it's not doing you any good and it's not serving any good purpose, redirect it to where you want to go, right? And like I said, I'm not always there, but I'm willing to believe that I am, no matter what. So with that being said, it's time to wrap it up.
Where'd he go?
Thank you guys for coming.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom,